by the House of Schwab.
Timo Liakovsky says, fine, we like to see that. Bring him forward as much as possible.
Vossmeyer with the board pass Vaccaro there for the save on the try by Paul Child. Brett Hall, the little defender, loses the ball to Child, and we're going to get the whistle by Jeff Mantell. He calls the trip. Paul Child is an aggressive player, and that particularly raises the ire of the fans here in Cleveland.
Boy, they didn't care for his name being introduced, and there it is again. Paul Child tripping Brett Hall from the back.
Davidson for Peter Miller, and he loses the ball to Vossmeyer. Vossmeyer looking for Child. Vaccaro will beat him to the ball.
Vossmeyer thought he was playing outdoors, and that particular through ball was a good ball, but just a bit too far ahead of Paul Child.
On the far boards, we'll get a whistle, and Herb Silva says dangerous play against the Force. It'll be Pittsburgh's ball. Kevin Marr for the Spirit will have, no, I'll change that to John O'Hara. Shot through the box. Brett Hall clears it, but it is again controlled by the Spirit. Bob Vossmeyer looking for Hagen. Benny Dargle was there to keep him off the ball, and Brett Hall will clear it. Nice header by Child, and the shove against Vic Davidson anyway. The fans don't like it. A lot of people here in the Richfield Coliseum tonight. There was some talk about the playoffs not drawing the fans. It has certainly not been the case here in Cleveland.
Certainly hasn't, Jack. There was that foul again as Vic Davidson pushed Paul Child from behind.
Vaccaro with a big save on Kevin Marr, and he tries to work the break with the distribution to Peter Miller. Miller from the top of the arc, saved by Papaleo.
How about the crowd these two teams had the last time they played here in the regular season, Jack? 19,048.
Child along the near board, centering try. The shot hits the crossbar. Child keeps the ball in play as Hagen misfires, but just barely. Child's header try. Ball is still loose, and Hagen boots it over the glass. It'll be a goal kick to Cleveland.
Boy, that last opportunity for the Pittsburgh Spirit. What a great ball by Paul Child to win the ball, first of all. Then he dug it out, put it across the face of the goal. They needed a second goal there, Jack.
Continuing that promo of the baseball action we started a few moments ago for you. As we said, Tuesday night, most of you will see with the Dodgers finishing up their series in St. Louis. Then on Wednesday night, the Cardinals continue to play host to the Western Division of the National League. This time, the San Diego Padres are in town on Wednesday night at 8:30 Central, Eastern, 7:30 Central, excuse me. Most of you will see that game as well. Sports time, we're playing the games you don't want to miss. And with a lineup like that, we do live up to our name. 4.5 minutes to go here in the first period. We are tied at 1-1. Kai Hoskevy along the far boards, being marked tightly by Adam Topolsky. Louis Nanshoff loses the ball to John O'Hara.
It was a good play there by Nanshoff to put it into the open space, Jack, but a better play by the Spirit forwards to come back and help out on defense. They realize how vital this game is.
Lob in for Sibbies. Louis Nanshoff beats him to the ball. They called the foul on Sibbies anyway. So loud in here, I've not heard a whistle tonight. Bernie James, the burly defender on the back line for the Force, to Michael Kaham. Works his way up to Alex Tarnozzi, the hero of Game 3.
And now the Force, Jack, with seeing no options going forward, they're content to play the build-up game and wait for an opportunity to go forward.
Hoskevy being allowed to come deep into the Pittsburgh zone. That's Tarnozzi. Shot blocked. And the pushing foul is called against Pittsburgh. Cleveland will have the direct kick to the right of Papaleo. Bernie James.
Pittsburgh.
Excuse me, Bill.
I'm sorry, Jack. Pittsburgh will run into problems if they allow Kai Hoskevy to collect the ball from the back and bring it forward unmolested. He could be very dangerous when he has all that time.
Bernie James loses the ball. Pittsburgh with a 3-on-2. Look at Tarnozzi try to get back on O'Hara. The shot is scored by John O'Hara just inside the left post.
What a great play. There's an obviously stunned Chris Vaccaro. What a great play by John Vaccaro to make that run deep out of his own backfield. He sold the dummy as if he was going to lay it off to the last player. Watch it here. The keeper and everyone thinks he's going to lay it off to his teammate. He goes straight at the goal, puts it by Michael Kaham, then past the keeper, Chris Vaccaro. Good work by O'Hara.
He was looking for Drago Dumovic, at least the Cleveland defense was, to the right of O'Hara. He then crosses up Vaccaro and goes into the lower left-hand corner.
And he gave it a toe poke in that far post. It's a nice play by O'Hara to come forward. Everyone, including the defense, thought he was going to lay the ball off. You go to your most dangerous player, the defense does, Jack. They started to mark up on Dumovic, and when they did that, there was a path for O'Hara to run into him. That's exactly what he did. There's John Kowalski saying, nice play, good stuff. Let's stay involved in the offensive flow now.
Cleveland got caught up field with their defenders that time. Bernie James trying to make the move in. You have to give O'Hara credit not only for the goal, but the defensive play that started the whole score.
That's right, Jack. And he had the opportunity to go forward, and he never hesitated for a second. As you just mentioned, he saw all that space vacated by Bernie James. They were caught short-handed in the back. And if there's anything you want to get in indoor soccer, it's a 2-on-1, 3-on-2, any kind of odd-even situation. It worked to their advantage on that particular occasion.
A concerned Timo Liakowski you saw there behind the Cleveland bench. His troops down 2-1 here with 3:10 remaining in the first quarter. So the official time of the goal, 11:50 for John O'Hara. His first goal of the playoffs. It was an unassisted goal. And Pittsburgh leads for the first time since game 2 on Saturday, April 28th, 6 days ago. Make it 7 days ago now. Cleveland will get the direct kick. They kick in, actually, along the far touchline. The Keith Furphy, Peter Miller, Vic Davidson line is on. They scored the goal for Cleveland. Davidson with the assist from Furphy. Furphy's wall pass is cleared by the Pittsburgh defense, but not out of the zone. Vossmeyer looking for Paul Child, but sends it too far, and Vaccaro will collect it for Cleveland.
Furphy, nice job of showing up there, coming to the open space to make himself available for the pass.
And we're going to get the penalty call on Kevin Marr as he sent Keith Furphy down. Jeff Mantell thought about it for a moment and then pulled the card. Furphy holding his right elbow as he fell to the carpet.
You mentioned Keith Furphy doing a nice job of showing up at midfield, and he's tripped from behind as he laid the ball off to Peter Miller. So our first penalty situation of the game. The Force will have the man advantage for the next 2 minutes.
The trip coming at the 11, make it the 12:15 mark of the first quarter. So Cleveland will have the power play. As so often happens in the playoffs, the power play efficiency goes way down. Cleveland just 2 of 7 on the power play in the playoffs thus far. They were the number 3 power play unit during the regular season. Hoskevy sends it through the box.
And assistant coach Jay Hoffman and head coach Timo Liakowski, they told me before the game, Jack, that they're not going to be so content to knock the ball around and get that 100% chance. They're going to go at the goal more than they did on Tuesday night.
George Nanshoff has replaced Craig Allen on the power play unit. Allen not in uniform tonight because of a bruised right heel. Allen sends the little lob into the box. It is cleared away by the Pittsburgh defense, and Cleveland will reset with 1:15 remaining on the trip penalty to Kevin Marr.
Drew Ferguson playing down deep right next to the keeper.
Trevor Dawkins also on with Hoskevy and Miller. Ferguson loses the ball but keeps it alive to Hoskevy. Ferguson's wall pass is loose in the box. George Nanshoff trying to keep it alive. We've got a whistle and the ball will belong to Pittsburgh on the push. 53 seconds remaining on the Marr penalty. Papaleo trying to run some time off the clock. 1:30 remaining in the period. Distributes the ball to Vossmeyer. And he gets it ahead to Hagen, but it goes over the glass, and Cleveland will get the ball back with 38 remaining on the penalty to Marr.
The Pittsburgh Spirit content to drop back and more or less form a box in their defensive shell, protecting against the buildup of the Cleveland Force on this man advantage.
Child and Vossmeyer out front, McKenzie and O'Hara on the back line. Nanshoff trying to set up Peter Miller. That's Nanshoff in the box. He loses it to McKenzie. 20 seconds remaining on the Marr penalty.
If the Force are going to be more intent in going at the goal, Jack, the ball has to be moved quicker.
Peter Miller to Hoskevy. Crossfield to Dawkins. He shoots. Manshoff trying to redirect it, send it back outside. 5 seconds remaining on the Marr penalty, so the penalty killing unit for the Spirit has done the job. Centering pass comes outside, and Marr will collect it out of the box. But we had a whistle in the box. There was a shove in the box, so Pittsburgh will get the ball back in the box. 41 seconds remaining in the period. Pittsburgh leads it 2-1 on an unassisted goal by John O'Hara at the 11:50 mark of the first period. Both teams making changes here for the final half minute. Cleveland has had a lot of trouble throughout the year giving up goals in the final minute of quarters. Furphy, the long lob ahead for Davidson, was picked off by O'Hara. 20 seconds remaining in the period as Drago Domovic comes away with the ball for the Spirit. Neatly tackled by Brett Hall. Topolsky whirls, shoots, hits the post, or actually just wide of the post. Sibby's tried to fire it home. 3 seconds in the period, so the Spirit with the pressure at the buzzer, but the Cleveland defense is there. A good first period for the Pittsburgh Spirit. They have to win tonight or the season is over for them. We have played through 15 minutes of soccer. The score, the Pittsburgh Spirit 2, the Cleveland Force 1. Back with more right after this.
New chicken hot bites from Banquet in 3 hot shapes. Hot from the oven, anytime, fun time. Hot bites, party nights, dip 'em, pop 'em all right. Hot bites, hot lunch on the go. Catch 'em with your favorite show. New Banquet hot bites. 100% chicken makes them great tasting meals. 3 hot shapes make them bite-sized snacks. Hot bites holiday, stack 'em up 100 ways. Chicken hot bites from Banquet in 3 hot shapes. The hottest bites around. Hot bites.
She was born the 20th child of a Tennessee farmer. Crippled by polio at the age of 4, still she dreamed of someday walking and running. Till that historic day in Rome when Wilma Rudolph's Olympic dream came alive. It's the same dream that will bring the in 1984. The 1984 Los Angeles Olympic Games share the dream.
Baseball, basketball, spring football, and track and field highlight May's Sports Time programming. Be with Sports Time this May for 28 Major League Baseball games, including the Chicago White Sox, the Cincinnati Reds, the St. Louis Cardinals, the Cleveland Indians, and the Royals. Major indoor soccer league playoffs throughout the month. Ohio State spring football, the Scarlet and Gray game. Elks Hall of Fame Basketball Classic featuring potential Olympians and coached by Ray Meyer and Eddie Sutton. Big 8 and Big 10 track and field championships. The super fight of the month. American Association Baseball. Join Sports Time this May. We're playing the games you don't want to miss.
Welcome back to the Richfield Coliseum. Jack Corrigan along with Bill McDermott. The score after 15 minutes of play, the Pittsburgh Spirit 2 and the Cleveland Force 1. Tomorrow afternoon, we hope you'll be with us on Sports Time at 2 o'clock Eastern. The San Francisco Giants will take on the Cardinals in St. Louis. Then at 5 Eastern, 12 members of the Bowling Hall of Fame will team up with 12 regional champions from around the country for tournament action. You'll see bowlers like Dick Weber and Nelson Burton Jr. Then after bowling, Todd Donahoe will have a complete look at the NBA hardship draft and discuss the pros and cons with some very special guests. It's going to be a big day tomorrow on Sports Time. We hope you'll be with us. Any strategy changes that you foresee here in the second period, Bill McDermott?
I don't really think so, Jack. Maybe the Cleveland Force will be content to not show so much impatience when they get behind. You mentioned that they give up goals in the late stages of quarters, but the game is certainly far from being over, and they're far too composed, the soccer team, to lose that patience they have. So I think Timo probably just said, stay involved in the flow of the game. We're doing well, but to continue to keep an eye on Drago Domovic.
Pittsburgh with the ball and that 2-1 lead. They have to win tonight or the season is over for them. Cleveland wants a victory. They do not want to go back to Pittsburgh for Game 5 on Sunday. Here's Vossmeyer making a run, but he couldn't get the ball the way he wanted it, and Vaccaro was there to take it easily off the boards.
And to continue on your previous question, Jack, Pittsburgh Spirit will have to continue the high intensity that they've shown since the ball was centered off during the first quarter.
Papaleo comes way out of the box as they tried to send it ahead to Furphy. Marr did a good job of just impeding Furphy from the ball without getting called for the foul. Here's Paul Child. Long shot is blocked by Dargle. It'll be a corner kick for the Spirit.
Child fortunate to win a corner kick off that ball there, Jack, because he's going away from the goal, shooting off balance, but nonetheless he wins a corner, so they keep possession of the ball.
Pittsburgh scored off of a corner kick. Dave Hagen to the right of Vossmeyer. Through the box, Vaccaro just got a piece of it as Child tried to tee it up. Another one through the box, and another one sitting right on the doorstep. Boy, Child, Hagen, and Vossmeyer all had opportunities to score.
Well, they deserved a kinder fate on that, didn't they, Jack? They had some opportunities, but good defense by the Cleveland Force. The last defenders, the last men back, when they see their keeper come off his line, they immediately go to that goal line.
Pass at the top of the box for Child goes awry, and the Force comes away with the ball. Benny Dargle and Vossmeyer. Dargle ahead to Vic Davidson. A 2-on-3, however, to Furphy. Furphy wheels. Good save. Papaleo header by Davidson.
Keith Furphy on that particular play, Jack, exactly duplicated what Paul Child did a few seconds ago. This time he ran into his own balance, so he could shoot the ball very keenly at that near post. Good work by Furphy to bring the ball out of congestion. Here it is. He takes it away from all the congestion on the near boards. He runs right into his own balance. He's running into his stride. Davison nods it back down, nods in the rebound. Here it is again. Furphy, full right-footed instep drive. Papaleo just gets his hand to it, only to rebound it directly to the head of Vic Davison. And he certainly doesn't miss opportunities like that, and that's an equalizer. Again, we're tied up, Jack.
The goal coming at 1:42 of the second quarter. We are tied at 2. The second goal of the game and the third of the playoffs for Vic Davidson, assisted again by Keith Furphy. Dumovic outside, but it is cleared away by Bernie James.
That's what forwards on these teams have to be capable of doing, Jack, and that is taking the ball away from congestion, bringing it into some open space to get a shot on goal.
Drago Dumovic. Boy, send it out to Topolsky.
He's so good in tight situations.
Long shot by Dumovic goes wide. Tarnozzi can't clear it out, but Nanshoff will. Run off the play by Kapka. Play on, says Jeff Mantell.
Oh, that was clearly a foul.
Dumovic, for all intents, double team there. Pittsburgh trying to get something started. Kapka using the body against Nanshoff because he's the bigger player, but the Cleveland defense rises to the occasion. Here comes Hoskevy.
Good play by Hoskevy to retrieve it out of the back, bring it to all the open space.
Bernie James is bumped by Sibbies. Tarnozzi tried to tee it up at the top of the box. Bernie James along the near boards. Tarnozzi again. His pass intended for Nanshoff just didn't have enough on it.
Jack, I don't think I've ever seen Bernie James lose a 50-50 ball.
He is certainly one of the bigger players weight-wise in the MISL and one of the strongest.
He was the defender of the year last year in the Major Indoor Soccer League.
Nanshoff run off the ball neatly by Sibbies. Here comes Z. Kapka. Good stop by Bernie James. O'Hara, he scored goal number 2 for Pittsburgh. Looking for Sibbies. Pittsburgh content almost like a picket fence with long range. Topolsky's shot goes wide. Tarnozzi is able to clear, but will get the red line violation. 11-11 remaining here in the first half. The score of Pittsburgh 2, Cleveland 2. We'll be right back.
Flavor of tangy cheddar cheese to a thicker cut potato chip, and you get O'Grady's brand au gratin potato chips with a heartier cheese taste and a deeper cut that cradles lots of tangy cheddar flavor. So for the hearty taste of more cheese and more potato, Taste O'Grady's au gratin. The more cheese, more potato chip.
Welcome back to the Richfield Coliseum. Pittsburgh and Cleveland tied at 2-all. Pittsburgh led 2-1 after the first period. Ian Sibby's outside, and it is taken away by Kai Hoskevy. Louis Nanchoff and Hoskevy working the far boards. Hoskevy loses it. He sends Sibby's down, and we're going to get a push against Kai Hoskevy. Make that John O'Hara, who make it Dave McKenzie, who got decked. Those guys in the permanents from long range here sometimes tough to tell. Here comes McKenzie.
Excuse me, Jack. You saw in that last couple of rushes.
Vossmeyer hits the crossbar. That's the second one of the night for the Spirit.
It is, Jack. I was just about to say, you saw in those last couple of rushes by the Pittsburgh Spirit, when they have the ball, when they can play with the ball at their feet and get back into the possession game, they almost always get a good chance at shot on goal.
Dave Hagen, the speedy Scott, the fine rookie. The wall pass is picked off by the Cleveland defense. Vaccaro's long distribution to Davidson. They worked that very well with Craig Allen in game one.
Boy, didn't they ever. And the key to it is, Jack, Vaccaro will give it to you on your protected side.
Michael Kahn from long range. Good save by Papaleo.
Because I think that shot surprised him, Jack.
Davidson almost had the hat trick. He couldn't tee it up after Peter Miller set him up beautifully.
Boy, he had an excellent opportunity at that far post.
Paul Child working against Benny Dargo. Those two have been going at it throughout the series, throughout the season. Kevin Marr moving in on Furphy. Centering try, headed out by Michael Kaham. Child, the give and go to Marr, and the Cleveland defense is there. Furphy inadvertently kicks it up over the glass.
You see what Paul Child's doing there, Jack, is showing up as a target man. Players will lay the ball off to him and wait for the return, the 1-2, the give and go, the wall pass, wherever you term it. And I think in indoor soccer, that is one of the key strategies.
McKenzie. The Vossmeyer blocked by Furphy. Whistle away from the action. We got a shove called against Paul Child in the box, and Cleveland will have the direct kick. We have played through 6 minutes of the second quarter. We are tied at 2-all. Vic Davidson with both goals for Cleveland. The second one coming at 1:42 of the second quarter. Ian Sibby's and John O'Hara with the scores for Pittsburgh. Vaccaro. Now this is Peter Miller after Pittsburgh thwarts the first attempt. Davidson is sent down, but a good defensive play, say Silva and Mantell. Here comes Hagen. Now drops it back to Vossmeyer, and Pittsburgh content to move it around a little bit again. McKenzie's shot is blocked by Furphy. Davidson to Dargle. Dargle run off the play by Pittsburgh. Benny is playing finally without the brace on the knee, and I don't think Pittsburgh realizes the speed of that backliner.
He's very quick, and he won't hesitate to get involved in the attack, Jack.
Outside, Kevin Marr. For the most part, Jeff Mantell and Herb Silva have done a good job of letting the players play tonight, not disrupting the flow of the game. It's good to see.
They're playing the advantage role, Jack. Exactly right.
Topolsky dropped it off for
his own wall pass, you might say.
I believe Kevin Marr, and Kevin just wasn't there. Sliding tackle by Benny Dargle, but the pass for Davidson is too long to O'Hara.
That first pass, if you're going to a counterattack, has to be right at the man's feet when you're breaking out of the back.
Blocked by Davidson out front. Pittsburgh is firing the long-range shots here in the second quarter.
And not having that much success with that particular ploy, Jack, because the Force are drawn back into an own defensive shell of their own, and it's rare indeed when you'll have success with a long shot.
If you're a baseball fan, be sure to be with us Monday night. Our Sports Time cameras will be in Kansas City as the Royals welcome the Tigers for the first game of a big 3-game series. Detroit, of course, had that remarkable month of April. They're still going pretty good here in the month of May. Then following the game, Sports Desk will wrap up the day in sports with scores, highlights, and comments. Be with us Monday night and every night here on Sports Time.
And the Tigers lost, Jack?
They've lost 2 in a row this week, which was a surprise. They've only lost, I think, 4 games on the year coming into play this Friday evening. They're here in town in Cleveland, as a matter of fact, against the Indians.
Certainly hasn't hindered this crowd.
Pittsburgh not able to get anything going, and Vaccaro will send it out to Hoskevy. Pittsburgh comes back with it after the good pressure by Topolsky on Hoskovy. But Kai comes back again. Louis Nanchoff looking for Tarnozzi too far.
Too far, but an excellent idea by Nanchoff to send the ball into the space. The key there is, Jack, I'll send the ball into the space, you run onto it.
John O'Hara looking for Civi, sends it wide. Bernie James in the corner. O'Hara takes it away from him, and this is little Ian Civi's. Long shot goes wide.
Civi's is so dangerous with his quick foot speed, and like his teammate Dumovic, so good in those close, tight situations.
Civi's has the first goal of the night for Pittsburgh, but Cleveland, more than any other club in the league, did a pretty good job on Civi's, in part because they used big Bernie James on the little pole.
That's a mismatch, isn't it?
5'5" against 6'1", and a lot of pounds. Drago Dumovic at the red line. Long shot blocked by Michael Cahan. And the tall, lanky young man from the French Cameroons has been a big, big factor in the success of the Force here in the playoffs.
He certainly has, Jack. He represented his country in the World Cup in Spain in 1982, and they surprised quite a few nations.
He's got that good work ethic as well, Billy. He was content to keep working hard in practice, even if he was not getting the action in the game. Well, here's Nanchoff. Tried to double clutch the left footer. Papaleo stayed with it well. Adam Topolsky advancing it for Pittsburgh. Into the Cleveland defensive third, but Hoskovy toe pokes it away.
Topolsky should have hit that ball first time when Civi's. He showed up very nicely as a target man, Jack. He should have hit it first time.
Dumovic from long range, just wide of the left post. Kai Hoskovy. To Michael Kahn at midfield. Cleveland will make some line changes. This is Furphy. Shot through the box. Papaleo got a piece of it.
Great save by Papaleo to turn that away at the near post. Excellent work by Furphy to get open, then protect the ball with his body. He shielded off that last defender very effectively.
4:35 remaining. Luis Alberto on for the first time. The former Force player, now a midfielder for Pittsburgh. He's had some injury problems this year.
Unfortunately for Pittsburgh, because what a talented player he is, Jack.
One of those trades that really worked out well for both clubs. Alberto coming to Pittsburgh in exchange for Chris Sobieski, who had a great year in goal for Cleveland. He and Vaccaro gave Cleveland a very fine 1-2 punch in goal.
Very much so.
Furphy wheels around Marr, moves in, shoots, sends it wide.
Boy, Furphy, Jack, doing splendid work of first getting open, then making that turn on the last defender.
Ahead for Paul Child. This is Marcio Leite, who is also on for the first time. Working against Brett Hall. Benny Dargle runs Child off the ball. Drops it to Brett Hall in the corner. Leite, like many of the South Americans, loves that step-over dribble.
Oh, does he ever. And those Brazilians, they're really noted for their work in tight, close situations, just like Yugoslavians.
Vic Davidson outside after Furphy made the good defensive play. Ball comes loose to Alberto with 3:25 to go in the half. Paul Child. Crossfield, this is Hagen. He shoots, blocked by Furphy. Rebound goes over the glass. It'll be goal kick. No, it'll be a corner kick for Pittsburgh. Impressively tonight, we have seen good defense out of Keith Furphy as well as the offensive efforts. We have got a timeout here as I started to talk about Keith Furphy, so we'll pause for the moment. 3:16 remaining in the half. We are tied at 2-all. We'll be right back.
Give me a light. Bud Light.
If you just ask for a light beer, you never know what you'll get.
Give me a light. Bud Light.
So if you want the less filling light beer with the first name and taste, don't just ask for a light beer.
Hey, give me a light.
Ask them to bring out their best.
No, Bud Light.
Bud Light. Because everything else is just a light.
It's a wild place.
.316 remaining in the first half. Corner kick for the Pittsburgh Spirit. We are tied at 2-all. Leite misses twice, 3 times. And Cleveland cannot clear the box. They finally do. Leite hit the post and then missed another one. Here comes Hoskovy on the break. He sends it wide.
That play there, Jack, is where you really want to see Craig Allen on the left wing. He's really adept at making that counterattack work for the Force.
The trip is called against Kai Hoskovy in the corner. It'll be Pittsburgh's ball with 2:52 remaining in the first half. Boy, Marcio Leite had 3 opportunities to the left of Vaccaro and couldn't get it home.
He's playing tonight in the place of the injured Greg Ostalchik for the Pittsburgh Spirit.
Alberto loses the ball at midfield to Tarnozzi. Cleveland will reset with 2:35 to go in the half. We've now got Tarnozzi going off, Davidson coming on. This is Louis Nanshoff working against John O'Hara. Play on, says Jeff Mantell. Nanshoff working hard against the captain of the Spirit. His centering try for Davidson is picked off by Liete. Michael Kaham with a defensive play on Liete. Long try for Davidson, thwarted by the Pittsburgh defense with 2 minutes remaining in the half.
Good work by the Pittsburgh defense to not only defend up, but then start a play immediately out of the back.
Dave McKenzie and John O'Hara now together on the back line with Hagen, Sibbies, and Vossmeyer. Now McKenzie leaves and Topolsky comes on. This is Vossmeyer. Taken away neatly by Michael Kaham. Those long, lanky legs.
That was a nice sliding tackle, wasn't it, Jack?
1:25 to go in the half. Remember what I told you in period 1. Cleveland has problems in the final minute of quarters. They've been outscored 27-17, including the playoffs in the final minute of quarters. Sibby's trying to work around Benny Dargle. A sliding tackle by Dargle. They're going to call the hold and a 2-minute penalty on Benny Dargle as Ian Sibby's tried to work in to the right of Chris Vaccaro.
Perhaps the proper time for Benny Dargle to take a foul, Jack, because what you were talking about was just about to take place, I think. There you see it occur again. Ian Sibbies had beaten Dargle. He was going in unmarked at that near post, and Benny Dargle holds and takes him down from behind just as Sibbies was about to shoot on goal at that near post. So a good foul by Benny Dargle. Let's see if they can hold on. There's 1:11 remaining in the first half.
13:49, the time of the penalty. Pittsburgh is 3 of 10 on power plays. They were 0 for 7 on Saturday. I make it 1 for 7 on Saturday night. In the game, they won 4-1. They scored on a power play and on a 6th attacker goal on Tuesday night. Topolsky as Brett Hall ties him up. This is Drago Dumovic centering cross pass to Sibbies. Pittsburgh Spirit has to reset as the Cleveland defense is there. Topolsky's shot is blocked by Trevor Dawkins. The veteran Trevor Dawkins on with Drew Ferguson, Brett Hall, and Bernie James. Sibbies in the arc. Has to send it out to Vossmeyer with 40 seconds remaining in the period. The penalty will carry over into the third quarter for 49 seconds. Drago Dumovic in front. Child is thwarted by Chris Vaccaro.
What a great ball by Drago Dumovic to find the unmarked Paul Child. There'll always be an extra man. You're playing one short, the defense that is. There'll always be an extra man, and Dumovic did a great job of faking the shot, then finding the open man.
The other side of the ledger there, as well as the goalkeeper, has got to come out on that unmarked man in the box, and Vaccaro did his job.
Exactly right, Jack. He's got to come up off his line. He's got to get involved in the defensive, too.
Ahead for Bernie James. Pittsburgh taking advantage as they come away with a distribution pass. Kapka from long range has it blocked by Trevor Dawkins. 15 seconds remaining in the first half. 1:04 on the Dargle penalty. Vossmeyer was hoping to get it right on the corner, but Herb Silva says no. Dumovic from long range, looking like a Pittsburgh Steeler as opposed to a Pittsburgh Spirit as he sent that all the way up to the mezzanine level of the Coliseum, which has got more than 16, perhaps as many as 17,000 on hand for tonight's action. And I could be low with that estimate, Bill.
They've drawn superbly here, haven't they, Jack? Richfield Coliseum, third only in the league in average attendance to the Kansas City Comets and the St. Louis Steamers.
An increase of 137% from a year ago. With 3 seconds remaining, Drew Ferguson will shoot at the buzzer. Papaleo with the save. So we have gone through halfway of a great soccer game between the Pittsburgh Spirit and the Cleveland Force. The score here at halftime, Cleveland 2 and Pittsburgh 2. Bill and I will be back with halftime activities right after we take this timeout.
Looks like you folks should get acquainted with Coleman.
Coleman, the camping people?
Coleman, the cooler people. The people who make the Coleman cooking machine.
For the patio.
And Coleman canoes and boats.
The son, don't forget a life jacket.
That's Coleman, too. So's the tent.
Now, where's Shirley?
And the new Ultimate Lantern.
Hey, this is a Coleman we never knew.
Coleman, we have picture outdoors.
Great college football action live Saturday when Sports Time takes you to Columbus for Ohio State spring football. All-American tailback Keith Byers leads the ground attack while quarterback Mike Tomczak throws to an outstanding group of receivers. Join us Saturday for an early look at a Buckeye squad that promises to be one of the best in the nation. Ohio State spring football live Saturday, 1:30 Eastern.
I was just 22 years old when we arrived in Berlin for the 1936 Olympics. When Jesse Owens and I stepped on that track, I could feel the tension in the air. And then I was running faster than I'd ever run before. But that day, Jesse was a fraction of a second faster. You know, a lot of people dream of winning the Olympics, but I wouldn't trade this silver medal for gold.
In 1984, the City of Angels becomes the Olympic City of Dreams. The 1984 Los Angeles Olympic Games share the dream.
Welcome back to the Richfield Coliseum. Jack Corgan along with Bill McDermott here on Sports Time with a halftime score, Pittsburgh 2 and Cleveland 2. Cleveland broke on top at the 5:26 mark of the first period on a nifty goal from Vic Davidson on the board pass assist from Keith Furphy. But then Pittsburgh came back with Ian Sibbies taking advantage of the loose ball just away from the grasp of Chris Vaccaro.
They did, Jack. Here, Adam Topolsky starting it from the back. He goes from right back to left back. Takes a shot at the near post. Vaccaro couldn't handle the rebound, and Sibbies slips in behind, uncustomarily, may I add, Charlie Green. Excuse me, the keeper there, Bernie James. Very uncustomary to get in behind him. Now, here's a nice run by John O'Hara all the way from the back to the front, and that stunned Chris Vaccaro. Nice goal by John O'Hara. Now, watch this play by the Cleveland Force all the way from the back to the front. Benny Dargle starts it to Vic Davidson. Turns, takes on that last defender, finds Keith Furphy, takes the ball away from the boards, goes to some space, takes a shot on goal. The ball rebounds to Vic Davidson. He nods it in. And what do you expect else, Jet? Halftime, 2-2.
These two teams all year long have been neck and neck. It is still the same situation. We've got that power play advantage for 49 seconds more for the Pittsburgh Spirit to start the second half. I know, Bill, as you know, this second half is going to be as tight a struggle as you can imagine.
It certainly is, Jack. And I look for the Pittsburgh Spirit to do nothing different than they did in the first half. High, intense pressure. They have to. Otherwise, the season's over. They go home and start their soccer camps.
Should be a great second half. We'll be back for all the action right after we take this timeout.
Chances late in that second quarter, Jack, and Paul Child made a lot of it happen by showing up deep next to that keeper.
Bosmeyer outside, 40 seconds remaining on the penalty. Dumovic working against Brett Hall. Benny Dargle is the man in the box for Cleveland. Adam Topolsky. Kapka tries to send one in the upper right-hand corner, but he misfires, and Cleveland clears the defensive third with 15 seconds remaining on the Dargle penalty. Right in front, Vaccaro lost the ball but got it back. Vaccaro will hold it for as long as he can, and that will just about kill off the penalty.
Carl doing a nice job, Jack. He certainly doesn't get flustered, does he? He shows some nice composure.
And Cleveland has killed off the penalties. So both clubs have been successful on the penalty killing. Now both teams will make some changes as Bosmeyer will slowly walk it up. 2-2 here early in the third quarter. Jack Corrigan along with Bill McDermott. We hope you've been enjoying this soccer. Buckle your seatbelt because there's a lot more to go. Furphy gets the ball to Vaccaro with a good defensive effort.
The fifth and deciding game, if indeed that does occur, Jack, would be Sunday night in Pittsburgh, since they ended the season one game ahead of the Cleveland. They were in second place, the Force was in third.
7 o'clock start Eastern time, Eastern Daylight Time now on Sunday, if Game 5 is necessary. There's a lot of Force players and a lot of people in the stands here at the Richfield Coliseum that hope on Sunday the Force will be playing golf or something rather than long centering try for a Dargle header that he just couldn't connect on.
Well, their eventual opponent will either be the New York Arrows or the Baltimore Blast. And the Baltimore Blast were certainly awesome during the year, weren't they, Jack?
They were as good a club as you could find in indoor soccer. Runners-up last year, and many people feel the team to beat in the 1984 playoffs. Dave McKenzie into the offensive third against Peter Miller. Miller with the block. Peter Miller played a lot of the year on the back line, coming over from Phoenix. Late in the season, they moved him up to midfield. A long distribution pass to Davidson. This is Keith Furphy, who has got both Cleveland assists tonight to Davidson.
And he has really been putting his stamp on the game, Jack, simply by being more involved in it.
The all-time goal scorer for the Cleveland Force. But Furphy really struggled after the All-Star game, scored but 11 goals after the All-Star game, which is highly un-Furphy-like.
Very much so. But isn't it nice, Jack? You can conclude your season, the Cleveland Force that is, with 4 players in the top 10 scoring list.
Peter Miller takes the ball away from Kevin Marr, but Jeff Mantell called him for the obstruction. Pittsburgh tried to get the quick reset. Mantell says, no, let's do it right where I called the foul. So we will move it back to Jeff Mantell along the near boards. 11:45 remaining in the third period. 2-2. Cleveland led 1-0. Pittsburgh led 2-1 after the first period. We were tied at 2 at halftime, and that's where we stand right now after going through 3.5 minutes of period 3. Both teams have had 1 penalty successfully killed off.
There's a nice play by Brett Hall on that particular occasion there, Jack. Ball was bouncing around and came off the near boards. He received it. And instead of losing his composure, he simply knocked it back, played it across the field. Now the Force have possession. They can go forward.
Brett Hall is not much of a scorer, but he's such a steady backliner. Last couple of years with the Chicago Sting and then the start of the year with Phoenix, he's been a real plus for the Cleveland defense.
He has, Jack, and most importantly, he knows his limitations. You know he's not that much gifted when it comes to hanging the ball and going forward. He's the defender, and he knows his role.
Drew Ferguson drops it back to Michael Kaham. Long-range shot goes wide. Hoskivy's follow is blocked by Topolsky. Hoskivy keeps the ball alive to Tarnozzi. This is Drew Ferguson. Tarnozzi in the box and scores.
There's some vintage Cleveland Force stuff for you, Jack. Great work by the Cleveland Force to keep possession of the ball. They knock it around, and there's Tarnozzi at that near post. Lovely work by the Cleveland Force.
Drew Ferguson taking his first offensive shift, I guess you could say, of the action tonight. Perfect setup to Alex Tarnozzi.
Every team in this league will tell you, Jack, we'd much rather prefer with the ball at our feet. We like to have possession of it. That way we get shots on goal, and that is exactly what occurred there for the Force. They brought it from the left wing to the right, back to the right wing. Good stuff.
Second goal of the playoffs for Tarnozzi. Of course, he scored the game winner in got a timeout on the floor. 10:19 remaining in the third period. Cleveland on top 3-2. We'll be right back.
What's for dinner? Frozen pizza.
Some people don't expect much from frozen pizza. They haven't tried Tony's Italian pastry pizza. Tony's has an Italian pastry crust you can't get anywhere else. It's light and flaky, like fine Italian pastry. Next time, try Tony's Italian pastry pizza. No other pizza has the crust to compare itself to Tony's.
Here's that goal again by Alex Tarnozzi that has put Cleveland on top 3-2. The great pass from Drew Ferguson.
Tremendous ball. The key to it, Jack. One time by each player, and he laid the ball off right at his teammates' feet. Great play.
Joe Papaleo will come all the way to midfield before sending it ahead for Kapka. Now John O'Hara, who has one of the two Pittsburgh goals. Drago Dumovic trying to wheel around. Tarnozzi stops that try, but Pittsburgh still in control. Topolsky from long range. It ended up being blocked by Dumovic.
That's exactly what happened, Jack. Dumovic was at that near post, but it simply hit him in the back.
O'Hara, the long lob into Civies. This is Drago Dumovic, the ever-dangerous Drago. Now Kapka in the box for Dumovic, cleared by the Cleveland defense, but not out. Hoskovy and McKenzie fight for the ball. Now that's James and Civies, and the obstruction call goes against Bernie James.
Good work there by O'Hara out of the back. McKenzie and Civies. Good work in a real close, tight situation. They won a foul on the play.
Cleveland clears the zone with the Hoskovy half volley. And Papaleo will reset the Pittsburgh attack. Captain John O'Hara. Cleveland has got a nice situation that Drew Ferguson and Peter Miller, among others, have played time on the back line as well as at midfield or even at a forward spot. Gives Cleveland a lot of defenders on the field who are still scorers.
Exactly, Jack. And most importantly, to continue with that line of thinking, they have the confidence to go forward. They have the confidence in their own ball skills to be able to bring the ball out of the back after defending and then go forward to contribute to the attack.
There was some criticism of Cleveland during the season when they were struggling in the second half about the lack of scoring from their back line, but part of that was because Ferguson and Miller had moved up onto the front line. Vic Davidson will send it back to Benny Dargle. Dargle nutmegs Vossmeyer, and Cleveland is on the move again. Miller's shot, good piece of the ball by Papaleo to keep Vic Davidson from getting a hat trick, perhaps. Furphy wheels. Davidson tries to put it by Papaleo, just misfired. Long range, good block by Dave Hagen as Dargle fired it from 50 feet. Cleveland keeping the pressure on. Dargle scores.
What a great play by the Cleveland Force as Benny Dargle overlaps out of the back. Peter Miller fighting him very nicely. Here it is. Great ball across the face of the goal. Here's Dargle overlapping from the back. Hits it first time with a full in-step drive. And now the Cleveland Force on top by a score of 4-2. There's a great ball from Peter Miller, designed to be hit first time, and that is exactly what Benny Dargle does. Puts it right through the legs of the keeper, Joe Papaleo, and the Pittsburgh Spirit say, hold on a second. Hold on, let's take a timeout. There's an obviously happy Cleveland Force bench, Jack.
The goal coming at 6:58 as Benny Dargle scores his second goal in as many nights. And we are going to take a timeout here as John Kowalski has to talk things over with this Pittsburgh Spirit club. 8:02 remaining in the third period. The score, Cleveland 4, Pittsburgh 2. We'll be right back.
Earth Grains, bread at its best. Proud to be served to the athletes during the 1984 Olympic Games.
When the best of all nations break bread, we'll be there. Caring, comparing, and sharing goodness
Richfield Coliseum as you look at Benny Dargle, the guy who has given Cleveland a 2-goal advantage. I just got out of my mouth about the Cleveland backliners not scoring as much, and Benny nutmegs Joe Papaleo.
Good work by Dargle to realize the situation. He saw all that open space. He simply ran into it, ran on to that splendidly played ball by Peter Miller.
Erhard Kapp has come on, excuse me, Bill, for his first shift tonight.
His last 2 goals by the Force have really been nice, Jack.
Bob Vossmeyer looking for Hagen. They go back out to O'Hara. Pittsburgh desperately trying to regain some momentum. Peter Miller with the block. Peter had 106 blocks on the year.
Season tickets for next year are now on sale.
Jack, they tried to regain the momentum Tuesday night, and they did it simply by bringing out number 9, Drago Dumbovic. So let's see what happens.
Erhard Kapp, veteran player. And we got a pushing call away from the ball on Dave Hagen. So Cleveland gets the ball. The long distribution by David to Vic Davidson from Vaccaro. On that Dargle goal, Cleveland did a magnificent job of keeping the pressure on Papaleo, as not only were they getting good shots, but they dug after the rebounds and reset in the offensive third. That's the key to scoring.
It is, Jack. And the Pittsburgh Spirit, in particular, they simply couldn't clear the ball out of their own end, and they had to pay for it.
Long pass ahead to Vossmeyer, but it's too far, and Vaccaro distributes it to Benny Dargle.
And distributes it very nicely, Jack. He first looked long. That's where coaches like their keepers to look. Go long first if you can. If not, just lay it off to a man who has an opportunity to go forward with the ball. But above all, keep possession of it.
6:35 remaining here in the third quarter. Cleveland leads it 4-2. It'll be Cleveland's ball on the kick-in. And we'll get line changes. There's great baseball coming your way live on Sports Time. Monday, the Tigers are in Kansas City to take on the Royals. That's at 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central. Tuesday night, most of you will have the Dodgers finishing up their series in St. Louis at 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central. Wednesday night, the Cardinals continue to play host to the National League West. This time, the Padres are in town, and most of you will see that game as well. Sports Time, we're playing the games you don't want to miss. And with a lineup like that, we do live up to our name. Kai Hoskovy, centering try, nobody there, but Cleveland keeps the pressure on as Bernie James sent it back into the corner, but it bounces to Papaleo. Papaleo with the long distribution try, and Cleveland is called for the hold. 6:18 to go in the third period. We've got Hagen, Child, and Vossmeyer on with Kapp and O'Hara on the back line.
And as we talked earlier, Jack, the Spirit are so adept at getting chances on goal when they play the ball possession game, but the Force simply not allowing them to do so with tight man-to-man marking.
Dave Hagen. This is O'Hara looking for Child. Child tried to open his legs up. The follow-up goes wide. Look at all that action, and Vaccaro comes away with the ball.
Good defense by the Cleveland defenders. Again, they went to the goal when their keeper came off his line.
Hoskovy walks it up. Cleveland trying to run some time off the clock. Michael Kaham comes on off the boards, and he's got the ball. This is Tarnozzi. He scored the go-ahead goal for Cleveland. Tarnozzi wheels on Hagen, tried to throw a centering pass or kick a center. Here's Kaham. Great save, Papaleo.
Boy, what an absolutely superb save by Joe Papaleo on Michael Kaham. He's frustrated. The end result, he gets a 2-minute penalty, Jack.
Second penalty of the night called on Cleveland as Michael Kaham got tangled up on the far boards. Let's look at this one again as Erhard Kapp was the guy who took the worst of it.
Michael Kaham bodying off there, Erhard Kapp, obstructing his path to go forward. Kapp put the ball by him. He was about to take off upfield. Kaham jumps in front. He's about to serve a 2-minute penalty, and this is exactly what happened the other night, Jack. They were comfortable with the lead, but started to dwindle away.
The pushing penalty coming at 9:37, so Pittsburgh with their second power play advantage of the night. They are 3 of 11 on power plays in the series. Here's Luis Alberto, the former Force player. Also played a number of years with the New York Arrows. Drago Dumbovic shoots the ball loose in the box and a score just like that. Paul Child, just as he did on Tuesday night.
Exactly, Jack. Such an integral integral part of any team's offensive makeup is their man advantage unit. Well, we didn't even get a chance to see it on that particular occasion for the Spirit because it happened so quickly. But Luis Alberto started it in the back. It all starts in the back. There's Drago Dumbovic shooting at the near post. It rebounds to Paul Child, receives it, and hits a full instep drive with his right foot. And the Pittsburgh Spirit continuing to be pesky. They draw within one. There it is again. Paul Child unmarked at the far post. They had the man advantage. Puts it by Chris Vaccaro. Now it's 4-3.
That's a great catch by Child, too, to control that rebound.
Because that was a difficult ball to handle. Dumbovic imparted some spin to it when he first hit the initial shot, Jack. It's tough, as you mentioned, to corral that ball when it's rebounding off the ball with such pace.
Marcio Leite took the ball away from Brett Hall, and here comes Pittsburgh again. This is McKenzie. Top of the box, Alberto. Thwarted once by the Cleveland defense. Leite's shot goes wide, and Benny Dargle will clear it down to midfield and into the Pittsburgh third.
And look, Jack, that almost instantaneous dose of confidence that the Spirit now has. And they're able to go at the Cleveland Force now.
Davidson looking for Furphy. Just got it out in front of him. The long distribution try by Papaleo. Paul Child gets it back to Kevin Marr. 4:20 remaining in the third period. It's a one-goal game. Pittsburgh trailing Cleveland 4-3. Kevin Marr, the All-American from Yale, thwarted by Davidson, tries it again. Peter Miller with the defensive play. And Cleveland will clear the zone. Furphy on the move. Looking for Davidson. Peter Miller keeps it alive. This is Dargle. Papaleo comes way outside, knocks Dargle down, and play on, say the officials. Furphy keeps the ball alive in the Pittsburgh end. Furphy in the corner. Centering Tyler. Oh, what a goal by Vic Davidson, but give it to Keith Furphy. Another fabulous assist.
What a great ball by that man, number 25, Keith Furphy. And there's the perplexed Joe Papaleo. Here it is again, Jack. Another great ball, as you mentioned, buddy. Keith Furphy across the face of the goal to the unmarked Dick Davidson. Another great Cleveland Force goal. That's Davidson's third. Furphy's third assist.
4 goals now in the playoffs for Vic Davidson. 4 assists for Keith Furphy. And this could spell problems, not only for Pittsburgh tonight, but for the rest of the team should Cleveland go on to win this game. A revived Keith Furphy makes Cleveland even tougher to handle.
Exactly, Jack. And it's so important that he get back into the offensive flow, depending upon the injury situation with Craig Allen.
Distribution pass is stolen by Vosmeyer, but Michael Kaham comes away with it for Cleveland.
Again, this goal occurs, Jack, because the Pittsburgh Spirit, because of a high, intense pressure by the Force, couldn't clear it out of their own end.
Have to credit Peter Miller as well for keeping that ball alive. Hoskevy, cross field. It is sent over the boards by Dave Hagen. It'll be a kick in for the Force just inside the Pittsburgh red line. You look at the concern on the face of John Kowalski.
Here's John, who in the last week of the season became the only third coach in the MISL to win his 100th game, Jack. Along with Hoskevy and Roy Turner.
For Ferguson, what a save, Papaleo. That was easily Joe's best save of the night, but Kaham keeps the ball alive.
Superlative save by Joe Papaleo just to get to the ball, Jack, and then not give up the rebound when he fell to the turf.
Hagen with the long shot. It caught the top of the boards. Pittsburgh still controls. This is Vosmeyer. He and Civies along the near boards. Top of the box, Hagen trying to whirl, blocked by Kahn. Tarnozzi with the pressure for Pittsburgh's efforts as Cleveland is still marking tightly. 2:35 to go in the third period. Cleveland leads at 5-3.
Now let's see if Pittsburgh can do what they did Tuesday night when they had all this intense man-to-man pressure. They had a lot of ball movement away from the location of the ball. That's the key.
Hagen's try goes wide. Tarnozzi to Drew Ferguson. He'll clear it to Tarnozzi at midfield. And now it's a foot race. O'Hara will beat him to the ball. Play on, says Herb Silva. 2:05 to go in the third period. Here's Erhard Kapp. What a toe poke sliding tackle by Michael Kaham.
Great tackle by Kaham in particular, Jack, in the open field. Really nice work. And as I just mentioned, the key for the Spirit has to be players running off the ball.
You see Cap and Alberto coming on. John Kowalski knows he's got to get fresher legs out there. Guys who play aggressive. Marcio Leite's out there as well. Vaccaro hanging on to the ball until he gets some pressure from Pittsburgh. Finally, Alberto comes up. Vaccaro sends it out to Furphy. Peter Miller along the boards to Keith Furphy. Furphy on the move. Boy, good stop by John O'Hara as Furphy tried the centering try. Benny Dargle intercepts the distribution pass. 1:25 remaining in period 3. We were tied at 2-all at halftime. Cleveland outscoring Pittsburgh 3-1 thus far here in the third period.
And as you just so accurately mentioned, Jack, Coach John Kowalski wants to get fresh players in here to continue this high-pressure game.
Distribution pass to Davidson. Gets it around McKenzie, but O'Hara drops back. We're getting a lot of McKenzie and O'Hara on at the same time because they're the stalwart defenders for the Spirit. Benny Dargle loses the ball. Alberto trying to find Leite. Leite walks in, sends it wide. Bodies flying everywhere. Davidson at midfield loses the ball to Leite. Peter Miller and Paul Child tangle, and the ball will belong to Pittsburgh with 34 seconds remaining in quarter 3. I got to admire Jeff Mantell and Herb Silva. They have called an excellent game tonight in terms of letting the flow go.
I have, Jack, in particular. You know it's going to be a high intense pressure by the Pittsburgh Spirit. We said that. John Kowalski openly said it. We have to do that in order to get back in this playoff series.
McKenzie on the near boards looking for Child or Leite in the box. Centering try. Peter Miller will clear it out for Cleveland with 15 to go in the period. Papaleo comes out to the red line. 10 seconds remaining in the period. Long lob down to McKenzie in the corner. Dargle and McKenzie fight for the ball. Whistle, and what do we got? Dangerous play called against Dave McKenzie, and he cannot believe it.
Yeah, you mentioned the fact that they'd like to keep McKenzie and O'Hara on at the same time. They both represented the Eastern Division at All-Star games. Veteran defenders.
A near-capacity crowd here at the Richfield Coliseum outside of Cleveland going crazy. 15 minutes of soccer yet to be played. The score, Cleveland 5, Pittsburgh 3. Back with more right after this.
You can't build a bike for the Olympics by machine. Each tube's got to be custom fit to transfer weight into forward momentum. After all, a champion should ride a champion.
To everyone who's working hard for America's Olympic effort, this Bud's for you.
Somebody's flying your way. You know it's Ozark. We're up there flying your way. The way you want to fly across the USA. Every day, Ozark flies your way. Ozark flies your way.
Serving over 60 cities coast to coast, border to border.
It began in a Pennsylvania cornfield. A girl with a dream of touching the stars. A wondrous dream. Until, with just $5 in her hand and hope in her heart, Jean Charlene Newhouse traveled halfway across the world in search of her Olympic dream. And in 1932, returned with the Olympic gold medal. It's the same dream that will bring the fleet and the strong to Los Angeles in 1984.
It's been over 50 years since I won my Olympic gold medal, but it's a moment I'll relive for the rest of my life.
In 1984, the City of Angels becomes the Olympic City of Dreams. The 1984 Los Angeles Olympic Games. Share the dream.
Period. Baltimore
Welcome back to the Richfield Coliseum. Jack Corgan along with Bill McDermott. You get an idea of the people on hand here tonight. This franchise has become one of the real hallmarks of this organization of indoor soccer now, as Cleveland, along with Kansas City and St. Louis and Wichita, playing to near capacity crowds nearly every night.
It's incredible, Jack, and they've really turned out in force for the playoff series. During the regular season, they averaged 6,600 people last year. This year, you end up averaging 13,000 people. What an incredible increase in average attendance.
Get a look at Timo Liakoski behind the fourth bench. I'm sure he told his troops about the fact that Pittsburgh got back into the game early in the fourth period. They'll try and guard against that. Looking over some of the numbers, one of the impressive figures tonight for the Force is through 3 periods, they have had 18 block shots by the guys up front. That means your defense is doing the job.
They certainly are, Jack, and they're causing, because of this intense man-to-man pressure, nothing's happening in close for the Spirit. They're having to shoot from way out. Indoor soccer, that is not a good percentage of shot.
Michael Kaham to the left of Papaleo. Joe makes the save. Looking for the long distribution for Drago Dumovic. Bernie James will beat him to the ball. James will send it down. It caught one of the Force players leaning over the board, so it'll be Pittsburgh's kick-in on the far touchline. We have played through a half a minute of the final period. Cleveland leads at 5-3. Pittsburgh led 2-1 after the first period. It was 2-all at intermission. Cleveland with a big third period to take this 5-3 lead. The final 15 minutes for the Pittsburgh Spirit, unless they can come up with at least 2 goals for a tie or somehow come up with a victory. Ball loose in the box, but Tarnozzi will get there for Cleveland.
And what the Force have to do now, Jack, is not duplicate Tuesday's effort. In other words, do not, by any means, attack with all 5 people. Leave 2 back at all times. You have to protect this lead.
One thing I'm noticing here in the early going, contrasted to Tuesday, Cleveland dropped back into the defensive third, but they're more aggressive on their marking right now.
That's exactly right, and they're leaving 2 people back, Jack, letting the other 3 people do the work.
We have played 1:15 of the action here at the Richfield Coliseum in the fourth period. Pittsburgh making some line changes. Michael Kaham in the corner, working against Dave Hagen. Ball loose in the box, but Bernie James is there for Cleveland. Out to Peter Miller. Miller goes down. Erhard Kapp will be called for the trip.
As we mentioned, Jack, the eventual winner of this quarterfinal series plays the winner of the Baltimore-New York series. That's in the Eastern Division, as we get a look at that foul again. Peter Miller fouled on that 50-50 ball. Then in the Western Division, you mentioned it very accurately. The Kansas City Comets tomorrow night at home at Kemper Arena. They really like playing up there, don't they? They have to come from a 2-game deficit, against the Steamers and the Wings and the Lasers playing tonight in Los Angeles.
The push called against Vic Davidson. Los Angeles has been one of the surprise teams of the second half. Got to give that Laser coaching staff a lot of credit. They got some new players in this season, and they have molded it into a fine club down the stretch.
Exactly, Jack. Peter Wall, their coach, an absolute shoe-in for Coach of the Year.
Team that won but 4 games last year finished .500 on the regular season. That's a tremendous turnaround.
Isn't it?
Furphy in the corner with the long clearing ball that will be a red line violation.
They were masters of their own fate, Jack. In the last week of the season, they defeated home and away the Tacoma Stars, their nearest rival for that 4th and final playoff spot in the West. They played superbly in the late going.
And surprisingly came into Wichita and won one of the 2 games, so they can control the home field with a couple of wins at the Forum. O'Hara outside. Furphy takes the ball away. 12:40 remaining in the fourth period. You can never say the game with these 2 clubs because of all the overtimes they've played. Miller is able to clear the zone as he gets it around Erhard Kapp.
5 overtime games, Jack. Obviously, the most recent of which was Tuesday, one of which was a shootout.
Along the near boards, Dave Hagen. The speedy Scott, who had a great rookie season, tries to set up Sibby's. Ball loose in the box. Benny Dargle with the volley to clear the zone.
Again, you see the trouble this Pittsburgh Spirit Club can cause when they keep possession. When they keep the ball at their feet, they're very dangerous.
for the people who are seeing the force maybe for one of the first times, whether it was the game on Tuesday night or this game tonight, as we get a stop and play, and we're going to pause here. When we come back, no, they're going to keep the play. Yes, we're going to pause here with 11:52 remaining in the fourth period. Cleveland 5, Pittsburgh 3. We'll be right back.
Whatever you're into outdoors, you can cool off with Coleman. Take our new 2-liter jug.
Thanks.
Or our Coleman Oscar cooler.
For after tennis.
Choose one of our Snowlight metal coolers, our new 100-quart Polylight, or Coleman's popular 48-quart. Even something cool for the patio.
Lemonade, anyone?
Coleman has a cooler for whatever you're into outdoors.
That?
Coleman, we outfit you outdoors.
Minutes 52 seconds remaining in the fourth period. Pittsburgh trailing Cleveland 5-3. Cleveland leading the best of 5, 2 games to 1. The force trying to clear the zone. It hit one of the Pittsburgh players on the bench. It'll be a kick in for the force just outside the Cleveland red line. I was going to make a comment on Benny Dargle just when we went to that break. I'll try and get it in the next time Benny's out on the field if we get an opportunity.
Jack, you know, conspicuous by his absence is one of the mainstays of the Spirit, Adam Topolsky. He must be injured.
Kevin Marr working against Drew Ferguson. Top of the box to Alberto. Trying to set up something, but is unable to do so. Liete. Liete back out to McKenzie. From long range, good save, Vaccaro.
Good save by Vaccaro, Jack, and a great shot to keep that ball low.
Distribution comes out wide. Papaleo makes the play. It'll be a Cleveland kick in along the near touchline. That came very close to being a breakaway for Michael Kaham, and he took the brunt of Joe Papaleo across the shins.
Boy, he did it. No foul there, Jack. That's a 50-50 ball. Both players going for that loose ball.
Bernie James ahead to Kai Hoskevy.
So good with his back to the goal, isn't he, Jack?
I was just going to say he's like Bob Lanier of the Milwaukee Bucks. You know, when he's got his back to the basket or to the goal and he's got possession of the ball, you're in trouble.
And you have to be good with your back to the goal in indoor soccer, Jack, because of the close proximity of the players. If you can body off players, other teammates can make runs off the ball, and you can be really productive that way.
Both teams making some line changes. This is Luis Alberto. Far side to Earhart Cap. Tried to run the give and go with Liete, but Cap never followed it up. Here comes Alex Tarnozzi on a 2-on-2. Tarnozzi looking for Drew Ferguson. Ferguson tried to bang it off the wall. It climbs the glass and goes over the end line. Tomorrow afternoon, we hope you'll be with us on Sports Time. At 2 o'clock Eastern, the San Francisco Giants take on the Cardinals in St. Louis. Then at 5 Eastern, 12 members of the Bowling Hall of Fame will team up with 12 regional champions from around the country for tournament action. You'll see bowlers like Dick Weber and Nelson Burton Jr. in that competition. Then after the bowling, Todd Donahoe will have a complete look at the NBA hardship draft and discuss the pros and cons with some very special guests. It's going to be a big day tomorrow on Sports Time. We hope you'll be with us. 10:25 remaining in the fourth period. Pittsburgh with the ball, trailing Cleveland 5-3. Pittsburgh has to win tonight or go home for the season. Z. Kapka looking for Ian Sibbies, part of that Polish connection that is two-thirds tonight because Drago Dumovic is on hand. Vaccaro comes up with the ball off the wall, looking for the distribution for a flying Keith Furphy, but it is picked off by Z. Kapka. Kapka, the big man, coming the other way. Centering try. Brett Hall is there to break it up as Drago Dumovic was at the top of the arc. Here's Benny Dargle. Benny Dargle did one of the great defensive jobs on Giorgio Canaglia in one of the soccer bowls a couple of years ago. Even though Canaglia ended up scoring the lone goal of the game, Benny Dargle was tremendous.
He was a mainstay for the, unfortunately, now defunct Seattle Sounders of the North American Soccer League, but he's a very talented defender.
He's a local boy from the Cleveland area, and he was very happy to hook up with the force. Here's Furphy in the box, just missed it wide. Follow up by Davidson is blocked out front. Great opportunity for Cleveland to really put this game away, but Pittsburgh trying to come back. Sliding tackle by Brett Hall takes the ball away from Dumovic, but here comes Earhart Cap. Peter Miller thwarts the centering try of the Spirit. Now Kapka shoots over the crossbar. Furphy will send it over the glass. We'll get the stop and play with 8:54 remaining. Keith Furphy could have really put this out of reach for Pittsburgh. He just missed the right post.
Just missed that far post. Is right, Jack. He had an excellent opportunity. There's Benny Dargo saying, come on, stay in the game, stay involved. The Cleveland Force now, Jack, as we mentioned, playing very alertly in the back, but not falling back so much so that they're not still going at that man, applying that high pressure to the man with the ball. As you wait for Herb Silver to give Vossmeyer the okay on the restart.
Bob Vossmeyer looking for somebody to pass to along the near boards. Hagen being hounded by Michael Kaham and Alex Tarnozzi. Long shot. Ball was deflected, trickles wide. Steve Buttle on for the first time, misfires. Bernie James with the defensive play, and Hoskovy clears the zone. Time starting to become a factor for Pittsburgh. 8.5 minutes remaining in the fourth period. Joe Papaleo sends it ahead. Tarnozzi breaks up the try, and Kaham clears the zone for Cleveland.
Well, Jack, that would have been some valuable insurance had that ball gone into Furphy just shot.
Vossmeyer working against Tarnozzi. Still on the dribble. He goes down, obviously looking for the 2-minute call, but it'll just be the common foul. You could see Vossmeyer throw his hands down. He thought he could get one out of Jeff Mantell, but boy, Jeff knows the situation here. It's going to have to be a big foul to get a 2-minute penalty now.
That was some real cinema.
McKenzie to Hagen. Centering try. Pittsburgh trying to reset. This is Hagen at the red line. Broken up by Hoskovy. Hoskovy still with the ball. Comes loose to Vossmeyer. He shoots. What a save, Vaccaro.
Boy, what a superb save by Vaccaro at that near post, Jack. He saw that situation developing and immediately came off his line.
3-on-2 break for Cleveland. Tarnozzi centering try. Kaham can't tee it up. And Michael Kaham is hurt as he went into the boards. Here comes Pittsburgh trying to get something going. Vaccaro will come away out of the box to clear the zone. Vossmeyer heads it back in. But Vaccaro gets back quickly. There you see Michael Kaham going off. He's hurting. But time is really starting to wind down on Pittsburgh. 7:15 remaining in the game. Vaccaro and Ferguson play catch. Vaccaro clears the zone, but it's taken away by Pittsburgh at midfield. Here comes O'Hara. Blocked by Peter Miller, and Ferguson will clear the zone. Boy, that was another great opportunity for Cleveland of the Pittsburgh defense. If they're going to stay in the game, they had to come up big, and they were able to do so.
With some great work by all four goalkeepers. All three goalkeepers, I should say, in the absence of Chris Sobieski in this series, Jack.
Peter Miller with the block on McKenzie. Cleveland's defenders, both forwards and defenders, have had over 20 blocks tonight. That's just great work out front. Sliding try, misfires. Liete sends it through the crease, nobody there.
What a dangerous ball by Liete across the face of the goal, simply hitting it to the space, hoping a teammate can run onto the ball.
6:20 remaining in the fourth period. Dave McKenzie trying to wheel around Drew Ferguson. Ferguson gets a piece of the ball, but Pittsburgh retains possession. Paul Child, back heel pass. Ball loose. Alberto loses it to Peter Miller. Whistle, and we've got a hold against Alberto. And Cleveland is going to take a timeout. Chris Vaccaro calls the timeout to give the Force defense a chance to take a breather. And we're going to pause as well. 6 minutes and 6 seconds remaining in the fourth period to score. Cleveland 5, Pittsburgh 3. Bill McDermott and I'll be back with the final frantic minutes right after we take this timeout.
New chicken hot bites from Banquet in 3 hot shapes. Hot from the oven, anytime, fun time. Hot bites, party nights, dip 'em, pop 'em, all right. Hot bites, hot lunch on the go. Catch 'em with your favorite show. New Banquet hot bites. 100% chicken makes them great tasting meals. 3 hot shapes make them bite-sized snacks. Hot bites holidays, stack 'em up 100 ways. Chicken hot bites from Banquet in 3 hot shapes. The hottest bites around. Hot bites.
6 minutes and 6 seconds remaining in this fourth period. Cleveland leads Pittsburgh 5-3. John Kowalski huddled around his troops. They have to come up with 2 goals in the next 6 minutes, or their season will come to an end. You've got to wonder when he is going to decide to pull Papaleo.
Exactly, Jack, because you lose by 2, you lose by 12. What difference does it make?
There's Jay Hoffman, the assistant coach, in the background. There's Timo Liakowski talking to his troops.
What he's cautioning against, probably more so than anything else, Jack, is the fact that, look, we were in this situation Tuesday. We had a 3-goal lead, and we squandered that. Let's stay on top of the game defensively.
Well, we've got our answer as to when John Kowalski was going to pull Joe Papaleo. He's pulled him already. John O'Hara out at midfield as donned the jersey, designating him as the goalie of the 6th attacker. So Pittsburgh, who scored a 6th attacker goal on Tuesday night, there you get a look at John O'Hara, will try and come up with 2 6th attacker goals in the final 6 minutes. 18,630 still on their edges of their seats. And Cleveland's clearing ball goes over the board, so Pittsburgh will get it with 6:03 remaining. There you see O'Hara, the 6th attacker. Cleveland has got John Victor on, a defender with great speed. So Cleveland right now is playing 3 defenders, Victor, Brett Hall, and Dargle, with Peter Miller, who has played on the back line, and Keith Furphy. Dave Hagen with the ball for Pittsburgh. Now this is Z. Kapka. He is out there with O'Hara, Liete, Paul Child, and Ian Sibbies. 5:30 remaining. Long shot by McKenzie goes wide. Kapka tries to fire. Ball loose in the box, and Furphy will clear it out. Miller with the header over the red line. 5:20 to go in the fourth period. Child and Kapka trying to work something. Dargle can't clear the zone. Ball loose in the box. Child tries to walk in. Ball is loose. McCarl with another big save. Again, the ball loose in the box. Peter Miller can't clear the ball, but it bounces over the red line. Victor fighting with Kapka, and the ball will come back to the Pittsburgh red line. 4:55 to go in the game. Vaccaro is hurting. Vaccaro is hurt and down. Chris Vaccaro on that last exchange took a shot to his right thigh, I believe. I don't know exactly when it took place, but he probably got a knee or maybe even have gotten kicked in that right thigh.
Very possible, Jack, because in that last heated exchange, Pittsburgh was doing a nice job of keeping the ball down in the Cleveland defensive third, applying all that pressure, and Vaccaro was called upon to make 2 and even 3 saves at one time. He's played well all evening.
He's played well indeed. While they attend to Chris Vaccaro, trainer Aaron Galpert, I want to remind you that if you're a baseball fan, be sure to be with us Monday night. Our Sports Times camera will be in Kansas City as the Royals welcome the Tigers for the first game of a big 3-game series. Detroit, of course, had that great month of April and still playing quite well here in the month of May. They just announced the crowd tonight of 18,630 as we are having trouble hearing ourselves.
Why is that, Jack?
Want to also remind you that following the game on Monday night, Sports Desk will wrap up the day in sports with scores, highlights, and comments. So be with us on Monday night and every night, as a matter of fact, here on Sports Time. Chris Vaccaro was still trying to walk around to walk off a shot to his thigh and his right knee, and I don't know if he's going to be able to go, and they may have to go to Sobieski, which could be a great break for Pittsburgh, as you hate to have a goalie sitting for all but 5 minutes of the game and suddenly come on and have to handle the barrage of a 6th attacker. But Vaccaro does not look like he could continue right now.
Doesn't look like it, does it, Jack? He must have got a knee in that quadricep area, which can be a very painful injury. There you see him trying to stretch that quadricep out. In the background is Chris Sobieski, who played very well the entire season, ended up 6 overall in the league, goals against. He's a very competent keeper himself, but as you mentioned, Jack, I don't know if I'd want any part of coming in the game now.
He has not played the last 7 games for the Force, making almost 8 games now because he has had a bad little finger, dislocated his little finger on his left hand in a game in Pittsburgh. Midway through the third quarter, Vaccaro came on. Cleveland won that game in overtime. Chris still testing that leg down in the right-hand goal. He is talking with the Force team doctor. And and let's see, is he going to try and stay on or not? Boy, it's a tough situation. I'm sure Chris wants to stay in there because he knows the difficulty for Sobieski as you look at the concerned Cleveland bench, and apparently Vaccaro's going to stay on. I think what'll happen, Bill McDermott, I think he's going to try and stay on, but there's another flurry or if Pittsburgh scores, I wouldn't be surprised to see Vaccaro give way to Sobieski.
Very possible, and the key thing to look for is his lateral movement, Jack. He's certainly okay forward and backward, but can he move quickly enough sideways?
Now Vaccaro is going back down again, but I don't think they're going to get the stop and play. He has said he can't go. Here's Marcio Liete to the left of Vaccaro, and Kai Hoskovy with the ball on the far boards. He and Liete fight for the ball. This is Cap with a shot, Vaccaro with the save, and Vaccaro is dragging that right leg. He will throw the ball down. O'Hara will stop it at midfield. Cleveland's going to have to try and get a stop and play somehow. Vaccaro trying to hang in there with 4:20 remaining in the fourth period.
Well, he's a skilled athlete, Jack, and he obviously knows his limitations.
Sibbies, centering try through the box. Hagen from the far side. It comes to Sibbies on the rebound. It is cleared out by Kai Hoskovy. Ball is still loose, and Drew Ferguson will send it over the glass. 4:05 remaining in the fourth period. Vaccaro starting to move a little bit better, getting some of that adrenaline going in the leg, but you can tell he is hurting.
Yes, he is, Jack, but as you mentioned, he'd really like to finish the game, but will it hinder the defense if he stays in the game? Let's see.
O'Hara at the red line with 3:55 to go in the fourth period. Hagen on the far boards, the long shot. It goes over the glass, and it'll be a corner kick. No, it'll be a goal kick, Cleveland, or just a direct kick in for Cleveland. Now Vaccaro sits back down, and he says he can't go.
Says, I've had enough.
It was a game effort by Chris Vaccaro to try and stay in there, but again, you said he's a skilled athlete. He knows his limitations, and Chris decides that he is going to have to call it quits for the night. He gets a standing ovation from the more than 18,000 on hand here at the Richfield Coliseum.
So Chris Sobieski will come on to play against his former teammates. He came over to the force in the exchange with Luis Alberto. Great to see Sobieski.
Chris had 2 victories over Pittsburgh on the year. On the season, had an outstanding year as Chris Vaccaro was assisted off the field.
Not only has he been playing great defense in goal, Jack, but he's the third leading scorer in the playoffs. He had 3 assists in the second game as he connected very nicely with Craig Allen.
Sobieski was 18-7 on the regular season with a goals against average of, I believe, 4.37, I guess. Tough to read that small print of the MISL. And it's not like baseball. When you come in as a relief goalkeeper, you don't get the warm-up pitches like the relief pitcher does. So Sobieski will have to feel the heat of Pittsburgh. Cleveland trying to move it ahead. Good effort by Sibbies to get the ball away from Hoskovy. Ian Sibbies on the near board. Shot, centering try. Goes back out to midfield. 3:35 to go in the fourth period. Z. Kapka fighting Hoskovy along the near boards. They go back out to O'Hara at midfield.
As we mentioned, Jack, the eventual winner of tonight's game, of tonight's series, I should say, will play the winner of the Baltimore New York series.
Blocked by Drew Ferguson in the corner. Ball is still alive, and Benny Dargle with the overhead kick sends it over the glass. Kick in for the Spirit with 3:14 to go in the fourth period. Line changes coming on for Cleveland.
Good line change there by Timo as he saw that Pittsburgh was ready to start, get the play restarted almost immediately to continue that pressure. Timo sent on a new fresh line of players.
John O'Hara, the extra attacker for Pittsburgh, sends it along the near boards to Z. Kapka. This is O'Hara. He's got one of the 3 Pittsburgh goals. Centering try. Sobieski comes out, got a hand on the ball. Bernie James can't clear it, but Brett Hall does to Furphy. Bernie James fights and will get the dangerous play against Bernie James. Furphy wanting to know why O'Hara wasn't called for the same infraction moments ago. 2:58 remaining in the fourth period. Long shot blocked out of the box by Peter Miller in a good effort. That helps a fresh goalkeeper to have the guy in that sweeper slot right in front of the keeper clear the box.
It does, Jack. And the Cleveland Forest defenders going to the most dangerous players of the Pittsburgh Spirit. On that particular case, Miller marking up very quickly on Paul Child.
Substitution, Drago Dumovic will come off the field. He was getting ready to work a play, and Pittsburgh had too many men on the field. They've got McKenzie with the size advantage on Brett Hall trying to work something right alongside of Sobieski as Pittsburgh has the corner kick. Sibbies, the Kapka, his try goes wide. Pittsburgh tries to keep it alive. Peter Miller will clear it, but not out. O'Hara now at midfield with 2:40 remaining in the fourth period. Long shot goes over the glass. It'll be a corner kick Cleveland. Goal kick Cleveland, excuse me. So Chris Vaccaro has been tested, but not too severely here in the, or Chris Sobieski, after replacing Chris Vaccaro. Midfield, Pittsburgh are quickly coming back the other way, but Bernie James will lob it back out to midfield. O'Hara and Furphy. Pittsburgh controls. 2.5 minutes to go in regulation. Cleveland 5, Pittsburgh 3. Into the corner. Dargle is there for Cleveland. Up to Bernie James. To Furphy. Furphy with a long shot. It will go wide. But that'll kill some time. 2:10 remaining in the game. Or at least the fourth period.
Excuse me, Jack. The Spirit in the waning stages still having some nice possession, but they really have to be more intense. They're going to go right at the goal now.
Sibby's at the top of the box is thwarted. The shot goes wide. Kapka from wide. That'll go over the glass, and it'll be a corner kick for the Spirit to the right of Sobieski with 1:53 remaining in the fourth period. And again, Timo Liakowski will bring on a fresh line. Pittsburgh has been content for the most part to make individual substitutions, and they're starting to get tired. Cleveland has continually made changes here in this sixth attacker situation.
Yeah, they've had to apply their pressure the entire game, Jack, obviously being 2 games for 1 down in a 5-game situation. We'll see if the Spirit now go in tight or knock it back deep to the open player.
They scored off the corner kick on a play like that to Hagen, but he goes wide this time. Kapka outside working against Hoskevy, and Sobieski is there to pick up the ball along the boards. 1:40 remaining in regulation. The long distribution ball into the Pittsburgh third. Some of the fans start to sense that the game could belong to the Force, but there's 90 seconds of action yet to be played. Hoskevy dogging the ball in the Pittsburgh third. Up ahead, Dargle with the steal, but the ball will go over the glass. Hoskevy trying to tell his mates to move up on the ball. You see Tarnozzi coming up. The Force into that tight marking man-to-man situation again. 1:20 remaining in the game. The fans starting to make some noise here. More than 18,000 as the Force tries to win their second quarterfinal series in their history. Here's Sibbies into the offensive third. Drops it off to McKenzie. Centering pass is broken up by the Cleveland defense. And we've got the foul called against McKenzie. And the ball will belong to Cleveland, and the fans love it.
They do, Jack. You mentioned they're trying to win their second quarterfinal series. They did so last year against the Chicago State.
Tarnozzi is sent down. And Cleveland will get the ball with 56 seconds remaining in the game. Pittsburgh down 5-3. Bernie James lobs it ahead. It'll be a red line violation, so Pittsburgh will get the reset. Not exactly what Bernie James wanted to do there.
Certainly not with less than a minute left in the game, Jack.
Ferguson clears the zone. 45 remaining in the game. Top of the box, now out to McKenzie. He walks in, blocked by Dargle. 40 seconds to play. More substitutions for Cleveland. The fans are on their feet. Listen to that noise.
Crowd of 18,000 or more. There's number 25, Keith Furphy. He was very instrumental in what seems to be a victory for the Cleveland Force, Jack.
Long shot blocked in front by Bernie James. Peter Miller clears the zone. 30 seconds remaining as McKenzie goes deep in his zone. Make that O'Hara deep in his own end. Off to Earhart Cap. 20 seconds remaining in the fourth and final period, perhaps, for the Pittsburgh Spirit. Dave Hagen shoots. Ball loose in the box. Sobieski with a kick save. And that should do it. 10 seconds remaining. And boy, do the people in Cleveland love to beat a team from Pittsburgh. Just listen to the noise. Unfortunately, some tempers have started to flare at the end of the game.
It is unfortunate, Jeff, because it's been some real attractive soccer, some hard physical soccer, and you certainly don't want to see this late in the game.
Luis Alberto is one of the guys upset. George Nanchoff trying to calm him down. Now we got some fans out on the field who are being ejected. There you see Paul Child and Peter Miller. They were the guys that went at it before.
Terribly nasty sight late in the game. You certainly don't want to see any of this nonsense. But unfortunately, it's too late now, Jeff, because some of it has already creeped into it.
Well, there's been bad blood between Paul Child and the Force all season long. It's unfortunate that a great game had to end with this kind of spectacle, but it's the frustration of losing that often happens.
It is, Jack. You're right.
There is Child again with Peter Miller.
It doesn't end. It doesn't end. Get him off the field. John Kowalski, do something with Child. Get him off.
And John Kowalski is going to literally walk him off the field.
And Peter Miller is certainly no better, Jack Corrigan. He's giving a terrible display as well.
Well, the fiery Scott has got a bad temper as well. And you're right, Bill McDermott. There's no reason to continue that. Peter Miller has departed. And now order has been restored, fortunately. They say there is 2 seconds remaining on the clock.
Well, why don't you go down there and play the last 2 seconds?
There you see Alex Starnozzi revving up the crowd. I don't think they'll get the 2 seconds because Pittsburgh has already gone to the locker room.
Just abandon the game. It's over.
Some of the police are telling Herb Silva and Jeff Mantell, let's just end it because there's no way they're going to score 2 goals in 2 seconds.
I don't think even Steve Jungle could do that, Jeff.
But no, Herb Silva says, let's bring him back out on the field. So I guess to make it an official game, we're going to have to do that. We probably would have penalties. Paul Child gets a penalty, and I'm sure Peter Miller will get a penalty.
There you see Herb Silva discussing with Jeff Mantell what to do with the final 2 seconds. But nonetheless, the Cleveland Force emerged victorious, as people thought they would, despite the fact that they ended up third in the division.
Time had elapsed.
There you can hear somewhat what Jeff is trying to say to the official timekeeper.
He also called a penalty, I believe, on Drew Ferguson. Now they say time has expired. So the rocking Richfield Coliseum explodes as the Cleveland Force has moved into the Eastern Conference Finals. We're going to take a pause here. We'll be back to wrap this game up right after we take this timeout.
Early in the year, these guys were down here scouting the kids. Now they're back looking for help.
Bring out your best, Budweiser Light. Bring out your best, Budweiser Light.
The best has a taste all its own.
Hey, Bob, you got a minute?
Enjoy it.
Budweiser Light.
comes the hottest selling Chevrolet today. The fun-to-drive front-drive Cavalier. Fire up 2 liters of electronically fuel-injected fun and experience more horsepower than the top 3 imports. The minute you feel Cavalier perform, you'll know what makes Cavalier today. And you. Taking charge.
Here it is, Pete. It began on a farm in Kansas. A boy with a mail-order course in wrestling and a dream of fame and glory. An outrageous dream. But when the mail-order wrestler won the Olympic gold medal in 1932, Pete Maringer's Olympic dream came alive.
You know, it's been over 50 years since I won my Olympic gold medal, but I can still hear that Star-Spangled Banner ringing in my ears.
There are 23 different sports in the 23rd Olympiad, the 1984 Los Angeles Olympic Games. Share the dream.
Welcome back to the Richfield Coliseum as the 18,630 happily file out of a madhouse. An unfortunate finish to the game with the confrontation between the two clubs, Bill. But a great game tonight. Cleveland did what they had to do to eliminate Pittsburgh and not allow them to get back for that 5th game in Pittsburgh.
That's exactly right, Jack. And the Pittsburgh Spirit, as we mentioned much earlier on, as soon as the ball was centered off, had to apply that intense pressure from start to finish. That can take its toll on its team. When you have to play so hard to try to get back into the series, sometimes you get tired physically, and then you get caught shorthanded in the back. That's exactly what happened to the Pittsburgh Spirit tonight.
And so now for the Cleveland Force, they head on to the Eastern Conference Finals against either Baltimore or New York. They look like they're playing that soccer they played at the start of the year.
Very much so, Jack, but as you just mentioned, it certainly doesn't get any easier to play against the division champion Baltimore Blast or the New York Arrows, who have been playing very well lately. That's certainly no easy task. So if they finish in the semifinal series and go on to the final, they still have some very difficult soccer left.
So it was a great game tonight. We hope you have enjoyed all the action here at the Richfield Coliseum as we have brought you this Sports Time presentation of MISL soccer playoff action. Tonight's game has been brought to you by Bud Light. The best has a taste all its own, satisfying but never filling. And by Chevrolet. America is on the move, and Chevrolet is supplying the wheels. Chevrolet and you taking charge. This is Jack Corrigan speaking for Bill McDormand, saying once again the final score here at the Richfield Coliseum, the Cleveland Force 5 and the Pittsburgh Spirit 3. Have a good night, everybody.
This has